Hello, everyone. I am Yvette Lloyd, host of Life Her Podcast. I have some amazing women that's getting ready to come on. If you watched the first one, it was just, it was breathtaking just to hear everyone's testimony and just sharing everything and being so transparent. When Destiny needs an intervention, volume two. And this is something that is so motivating and so inspiring. And I want you guys to meet these women. Check them out. Hey, ladies.
Hey.
So, first off, thank you so much for being on Life Heard Podcast. I really appreciate you all for coming on here to be transparent and just inspire and uplift other women. And that's just something so powerful, and you will always be blessed by it. Yes. So, Dr. Shayna, could you please explain to us how did you come up with such an amazing anthology for placing and putting all these women together?
Listen, Yvette, now that's a whole mouthful. How much time we got, sis? You know, it's a whole lot to be said about
Hey.
how we got here. You
Yeah.
know, one of the things that occurred over the pandemic, really. So we're going to credit the pandemic with really the birth of this project because it was in the pandemic that life slowed down enough for me. And I know a lot of pain happened in the pandemic, but there was so much gifting, so much blessing in it as well if we look forward. And so for me, life slowed down enough and it gave me an opportunity really when we were all in the shutdown and safe at home period. And I went live on Facebook for 90 days. I mean, every day I was live. I'm a licensed professional counselor by training. And so I was struggling with the rest of the world with the pandemic, right? With all of the stuff. And I was really just trying to help myself and help my sisters by going live. But what happened was there was just this overwhelming response of women. We were all in the same space. And so I literally just put us in a Facebook group, and it was called the Your Extraordinary Life Network. Women from all over the country were in the group, and I wanted to get to know the ladies in the group. So weekly, I would host these live interviews with ladies in the group, and they were sharing these stories, Yvette. And so they were telling these stories of triumph, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like these stories are amazing. And I asked them all the questions. So, have you ever put that in a book? Did you ever think about writing that down? And they all said, no, I don't even know how to do that. And so it dropped in my spirit that it was my assignment to show up and be the vessel to provide a platform for these women to share these stories. I'm a God girl. So every move that I make, all of the things that people may see me do, know that they were definitely inspired and listening to that which I was assigned or told to do. So that's what put us on this journey. And volume one was born with 13 co-authors in volume one. And here we are with volume two with 12 more amazing stories. And some would think, well, why do it twice? But there were just some more stories that needed to be told. And God said he wasn't finished yet. There was more work to be done and more women to be impacted, because this is what you have to know. These stories are about women just like you and me, ordinary women on an ordinary journey in life until something extraordinary happened, and realizing they were headed down the wrong road and they had to do something to turn some things around. At that moment, their destiny was intervened upon and turned them around, headed in the direction of where they were actually supposed to be going. So when destiny needs an intervention was born, and these ladies are amazing, and I'm just going to be quiet because I'm going to get out the way. I really want your audience to hear from them the amazingness of their stories and their journeys, and just how powerful it is to have a story and to be able to share it in this way.
Well, thank you so much for even just bringing these women together. And we all know sometimes we are afraid to even step out on faith to even get this far. So I appreciate you ladies for even being here tonight to even share your experiences. So I'm going to start with you, Christine. How are you?
I am wonderful, gorgeous blessing. How are you?
I am doing well. So please let the
Awesome.
audience know a little about you. Who are you? What do you do?
Oh, okay. Well, I am Christine Lemitri. I am an empowerment strategist. I am here to empower single Christian women. Here's what I need you to understand, my single Christian women over 40, but we still look good. Can we just pause and say we still look good, okay? First of all, I need you to let go of that stigma and shame that we carry around from being single. And that's what I'm here. I'm here to do that, to really release us from that stigma and shame of being single. Because first, we need to realize that we are gorgeous blessings, okay? Just gone. Let me just tell you, a full gorgeous blessing. We are whole. We are number one. Single is a whole number. So I need for them to recognize that and stand firm in that. Understand that you are made complete in Christ. We learned that from Colossians 2 and 10. And I really just want us to build and find that confidence in walking in God's purpose for our lives and not being so focused on, I ain't got no man, I ain't got this, I ain't got that. Focus on what God has truly blessed you with. And that is the ability to do what He has gifted you to do, and that is walking in His purpose.
Wow, that is amazing. So tell me a little bit about your chapter in the book. How could it inspire the next woman?
Oh, well, my chapter is entitled Honestly Ever After. And let me tell you, it's a story about heartbreak, trying to overcome heartbreak. And let me tell you, how I got there was I was busy trying to chase that happily ever after. And it wasn't until I realized that, that's a fairy tale. Nobody wants to live in a fairy tale. We don't even know if the fairy tale is true. Okay. Nobody can tell me if Cinderella is still happy today. Okay. And so we're going to let go of that fairy tale, but it really details how I went through a really bad heartbreak. Let me tell you, I wear red. I'm a Delta. Ooh, all my sorrows out there. But I ignored a lot of red flags. And the red flags come up, and that's God's way of telling you, woohoo, you on the wrong path. Woohoo, that's not what I intended for you. Woohoo, you need to let that one go. And those red flags were coming, and I was just like blind as zone. I'm in love, happily ever after. We gonna do this. We gonna be so happy. No, and I found myself in a relationship that God never intended me to be in. So the story talks about that, but it's not so much focused on that relationship. It's focused on how I really and truly needed to be honest with myself. So let's be honest. I'm single, but I wouldn't mind having a man. You know what I'm saying? We all want some companionship. I really want that, and so just be honest with that. Be honest with God about the things that you desire in your life, but must be willing to accept God's will for our life. And sometimes, what we want and what God is trying to do with us, don't always align. We got to get on His page, and then the blessings will start to come. And really, that starts with kind of changing our mindset. And the story talks about really changing that mindset of I'm chasing that happily ever after to I'm gonna be honest. I want to live my life honestly ever after. And so I had to kind of really start with that. Hey, telling myself I'm a gorgeous blessing. I'm whole. I might be single, but I'm whole. I'm number one. There is no half, no parts, no little parts of me. I am whole. I am whole in Christ. And that's important when you start to kind of reaffirm those things with yourself. So it empowers you to kind of wake up and tell yourself, hey, morning, gorgeous blessing. How you doing today? Okay, let's be about God's purpose, and really helps you to kind of align and move forward. It's tough after heartbreak, because it's almost like grieving. You're grieving a loss. You're going through some things, but you really have to learn that there's so much more in you. I mean, that level being a blessing, you don't even understand the level that you sit on. And that God is trying to elevate you to. And not everybody can be on that level with you. So the story really kind of digs into that. And hopefully, um, I really hope to help somebody else who might be in the same boat. You made some bad decisions. You ended up in a relationship you're not supposed to really be in. You're kind of feeling the stigma of the being. So why you still single? Why you ain't got no kids? All those whys and whys. Tell folks to just get out the why out your life and let them know that you are doing what you need to do, and walking in God's purpose. And when you remove all of that and all of that shame, because they think, oh, before we like there's a time clock on when I'm supposed to be doing things. No, no, not at all. And that's really what the story is focused on. And I'm hoping to help somebody get off the couch, stop shedding those tears over somebody that ain't even worth it. Don't live your life in pieces. I walk around handing out Reese's Pieces because that's my favorite candy. But that's how I felt. I felt like I was Reese's Pieces, spread out, crying over somebody that didn't have enough respect or care for me. And so I really just want us to kind of stand together as strong, whole, gorgeous blessings and be empowered. And just know that what God has for you is for you. But right now, this you are in the state and the condition that you're in for such a time as this. And you need to really be focused on doing some good work for God.
That is amazing. And even during that process, some people don't even just get through that process because it is like grief. And a lot of times when
Yes.
we dealing with that, we don't realize that it's grief because we've been so emotionally invested and attached to that individual. So now, as a single woman, can you let women know how important it is to start loving on themselves and returning back to who they are and even greater than who they was, to always recognize those red flags and know their worth?
Oh, yes. It's so important. And it's not easy, because we as women are conditioned to worry about other people. Even when I was going through the breakup, I was sitting over here like, I wonder if he's okay. Is it maybe I can't really express how he's. Focus on you. Recognize that you are a true blessing. And when you really acknowledge the value that you have as a Christian woman, then you're going to start to see and accept that. And I mean, it's important to change your mindset because the world tells you, oh, you're not good enough. That's what I used to think. If people would question, why aren't you married yet? Oh, you're so beautiful. Why aren't you married yet? And that I took it in, and I would think, well, do they think something's wrong with me? Wait, is something wrong with me? Like, and you shouldn't be thinking that. I mean, why are you questioning me? You don't know what God has planned for me. And so we really have to be focused. It's important to come out of that and focus on that positive mindset. Is that, I am a gorgeous blessing. I am strong. Yes, I made some mistakes. I saw red, and I thought red was good. Red is love. Red is Delta. Red is wonderful. I love red. But red flags are true signs, and you have to be able to recognize those true signs. And the red flags will show up as those feelings that this don't feel right. This doesn't set right with my spirit. Red flag. Hello. Red flag. Oh, that's he's actually not telling me the truth because he told me one thing, and that's actually not the red flag. Recognize it, make a change. Those are your opportunities to make a change. And that's what, when destiny needs an intervention, is all about. Is you're on the path. Red flags are flying. This is not Indy race car. Keep go faster. Vroom, we having fun. No, 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 no. This is I might not need to go down this path. You could save yourself a world of hurt. And you have to know that you have a father that loves you tremendously. Our heavenly father wants what's best for you. And so
Mm.
he would never want to put you in a position in which you're going to be hurt, heartbroken. Look, we put ourselves there. I put myself there. Okay. When I was ignoring the red flags, I put myself there, because I was like, oh no, Lord, Lord. I used to pray the Lord could fix him. I said, Lord, this the one I want. Fix him.
Look,
Fix him. I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna pray hard on this one. He ain't quite right, Lord. Look, he's still married, Lord. Fix it, Lord. Fix it. And something we need to be mindful of the things that we're praying for, the things that we're hoping for, and really just kind of recognize those things. But changing the mindset is important. My beautiful, gorgeous blessings, not lowering our standards and really opening your eye. Take the blinders off. Take the so in love. You got that feeling. You got all these feelings. Let me tell you, the Christ can make you have some wonderful feelings of being truly loved. And we know there's no greater love than what our Heavenly Father has for us, but we seek it from individuals. And we get lost in that. And sometimes you're looking at what everybody else got. Oh, well, they got such a nice relationship. Oh, they so cute. I want to post like that on, on Instagram and Facebook. I want to do all that. Why? Why? What you see is it may not even be real. It's Cinderella running off with the one shoe on, talking about she living happily ever after, and she's miserable. That's why you don't see part two of Cinderella. That's why the story ended. They don't let you know the real deal. So come back to reality, really come back to reality and grab hold of the power that you embrace by walking in God's perfect and knowing that he's going to continue to, I mean, he can give you more and more and more than you could even imagine. So let me just, I mean, I can't even imagine what mine, when he does decide to give me what's mine, what it's going to be like. It's going to be nice. But I just really hope to empower another Christian woman who might be in that same boat. I've been there, I've done that. We all have, and we really have to lift one another up and recognize that you are a gorgeous blessing.
thank you so much. That was very uplifting and inspiring. You actually entertained a lot of people in the
Oh,
comments as well. They love the red flags because that's all I've been seeing is red flags.
let me tell you, I had to learn the red flag.
Thank you so much, Christine. I
Thank
appreciate you. Hey, Karen. Come on, baby.
Hey, sister girl.
Hey,
Girl,
how are you doing tonight?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. So excited to be here, to meet you, to be on your podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your energy right now, okay?
I can bring, I can bring it.
Yes, we'll keep reading. Well, let us know. Who are you? What do you do?
My name is Karen George, and I am a toxic relationship strategist, girl. I
Oh,
work
wait.
with women of faith who've experienced gaslighting and desire healthy and whole relationships. I will equip you to overcome past hurts, rebuild, and transform your life into one of your dreams. You will find hope, healing, and peace.
You know what? I already found hope and healing just listening to that intro.
Yes, ma'am.
Goodness,
Yes,
the energy
ma'am.
is everything, and you
Oh,
got
bless you. Bless you. You got to do what I'm gonna be doing, honey. What I'm doing. You got to bring it. You got to bring the sisters out. You
yes,
know,
ma'am. Yes. So please share with us what is it like reading your chapter? What we gonna feel? What we gonna do?
girl. Oh well, I have the privilege of women already reading my chapter, and I'm getting responses as I was in tears. I never knew you went through that. I used to see you in church and you held your head high. I didn't know you were going through that. I've heard, girl, you gonna save a lot of women. I've heard a lot of things, but let me tell you just a little bit about what my chapter is about. It's about a time
when I was in my toxic marriage about 10 years ago. And I was accused, hence the title, accused. I was accused of being an abusive mother to my daughter, who was 14 at the time. And as a result of being accused, I lost custody of both of my children and I was evicted out of my home.
Oh,
And in my chapter, yeah, girl. And in my chapter, I talk about the stress and the anguish and the pain that I went through, how I was manipulated, gaslighted, but more importantly, how I played a role in my toxic relationship by being in it too long when God had told me a long time ago that I could let it go. I
no.
reflect on how God put all the right Christians in my path, and how He gave me the strength and the confidence to fight and get my children and my home back. And the whole toxic relationship reminds me of what Paul talks about in 2 Corinthians 12:7-10, how God allowed him to have a thorn in his side, and God, he asked God to remove it. And God said, no, my grace is sufficient. That toxic relationship was a thorn in my side and continues to be, because I have children, with him, and I still have to deal with him. It remains a thorn in my side, but God used that thorn to not only build up my spirit in Christ, but also allowed me to find my purpose. So I thank God for that thorn, because now I'm going to be helping other women with their thorns and help them to find hope, healing, and peace.
Girl, you done found me hope, healing, peace. Move on. Don't let it go.
Get out. Get out is going to be the name of my course. Get out.
On.
Get out. Actually, girl, get out is going to be the name of the course. Keeping it real.
Yes, that is amazing. Like, even just you even going through that process. I know so many women that go through this and they weren't even married.
Lord have
Okay.
mercy.
Wasn't even married,
Lord
wasn't
have mercy.
even, they didn't even have children with them.
Oh Lord, I really can help them. It
You
might be,
know,
it might be as easy as block, do not share location no more and move on by yourself. But I mean, I can take it
yes,
to any level they need to go, whether you need a restraining order, whether you need to go to court, whatever it is, go to the domestic violence shelter, get some counseling, get some help. I can help women at any level, married or single, at whatever level they're at. I can meet them where they're at and show them how to get out, and use my testimony as encouragement, because I've been through it. So it's so important that we can show women, hey, I've been there. I understand where you're at, and I can help you come up out of that situation. Yep.
so with you even sharing your testimony, how did it make you feel to actually release that and just was like, whew, I done let the world know, folks know all up in my business.
Girl. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to go there. So, when I first started this process, I was scared of exactly that. Folks going to read my business. Folks going to know what happened to me. They going to talk about me. Oh my God, it might get back to him. He might try to sue me. I had to let all that go. And my coach, Crystal Cunningham, gave me permission, okay, to let all those fears go. You know how? She told us it is our story. We tell it unapologetically, unafraid. Can't nobody tell us what we've been through. It's our story. We own it.
Yeah,
And it allowed me to fuel my confidence about that,
yeah,
because I know my bigger purpose. I've got to encourage women. So I had to get past all of my fears and frustrations to get to the point to tell my story, so that I could do that. I have to live out my purpose. And if I'm living out my purpose, God is going to protect me, just as He's protected me thus far and gave me the courage and strength to get out. So the whole process that Crystal takes you through from beginning to end empowers you, because we were scared to death. I didn't even know what I was going to call my chapter. My sisters, my Destiny Diamond sisters, gave me the name of my chapter. I didn't even want to choke it up. I called Crystal the story choker, because I was holding back, and she has a way of sensing that you're holding something back, and she would choke that mess up out of you. You're going to cough up that story so that you can bless other women. She would tell us all the time, there's somebody waiting on you. There's somebody waiting on your story to hear from you. You got to cough it up. So although I felt fear, being in this book writing process allowed me to set that free. And now women are reading my story. They're coming back to me. They're saying, you know what? Even one sister said, you know, Karen, I read a lot of the stories. I don't really have a college degree or none of that, but I could identify with a lot of the stories. That's all we want. That's what I told her. I said, girl, that's all we wanted. For you to be able to identify, for you to be encouraged. That's what this process is all about. Yes, it was nerve wracking, but once you get to the other side of fear, there lies peace, prosperity, and your purpose. God's plan, but it's all on the other side of fear. You got to get past all that. Get past yourself. This is not about you. Crystal helped us understand it's not about you. It's about us playing our role with our stories, with our signature stories to help other women.
You know what? You are going to be a blessing to many
Bless
women.
you. Bless
Um,
you.
just the fact that I don't know if you all noticed that it's a lot of women are coming up missing. It's a lot of women being killed by men.
Come on
It's
now.
a
Come
lot of
on.
women trafficking and everything. And just for us to even have this conversation and us be here today as a group of women that's so supportive of one another, it's a blessing itself because it shows other women that it can't happen.
Yeah.
But just the fact that these things are happening to
Yes.
women
And
today,
black women's statistics are higher.
yes,
We're being killed higher than any other rate by intimate partners. Let's put that out there. That's another
yes,
one of my big purposes. Black women aren't talking about this enough, girl. We got to
yes,
talk about this. We're dying. We're
yes.
dying.
Yes, and it's a blessing, and someone is going to be blessed by reading your chapter. And I
Bless
thank
you.
you
Thank
for
you.
even just finding that release and having Crystal force it because I know she's going to be heavy. Crystal, do not let up with nobody, okay?
No, no. She will pray over you. She will talk to you, but you gonna cough up that story. You gonna cough up that story. She don't play. She don't play.
Yes,
And I thank God for her, and I thank God for Dr. Shayna. We call it's a phenomenon. We call it fooling around with Dr. Shayna and Dr. Crystal. It'll set you free. And I got the healing I needed because I also need to say that I thought I was healed from this situation. I was not. I was not. Writing this story helped me heal. And it helped me face my accuser. Stop playing, y'all. I just faced that sucker after 10 years, and I was able to look my accuser dead in the eye and smile because God has given me peace. I got my healing. Get yours.
boom.
Boom. Boom.
Yes, that is amazing. It's just how you and Christine's chapter is coinciding, and a lot of women is going to need that. And just throughout this whole book so far, it's like touching everybody's life at once. You know, you're like, dang, why are
Yes.
you attacking me like this? It's amazing. So thank you so much, Karen. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
So hello, Yvette. Let me get you. There you okay, you got it?
I got you.
Okay, hello.
Hey. See, you
How
had to mute me. First of all, I love my sisters. Karen, all the energy, and Christine, who makes me laugh out loud. So you had to mute me because I was the one laughing out loud while Christine was talking. So is it, thank you for having me. Is it Yvette or is it Yvette?
Yvette?
Me too. So let me give you an air high five because that's the real way to say it. We
Well,
pronounce the Y.
yes.
Anyway, my
Yes.
name is Yvette Broadnax, and I am the reset strategist. And I help Christian women who are over 40 who may be feeling unfulfilled in their workplace. I help them to find their passion. I help them to identify gifts, also identify barriers that may hinder them from moving forward, and help them to fulfill their purpose and the dreams that have been laying dormant in their belly. That's what I do.
So tell me, what was your purpose in your chapter?
Okay, the name of my chapter was called The Courage to Dream Again. And it was my story of just what I said, being somebody over 40, actually over 50, and feeling unfulfilled in my work. I had a uh, aha moment. That's what Oprah calls it. We call it the just like a moment of truth where I had an encounter with God, and I was just so unhappy in my workplace. It was affecting me physically, it was affecting me mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I mean, I just felt like I had hit a wall. I was a wreck. And I had to really just kind of shut everything down, just slow it all down, and just listen to God and just hear. First of all, I needed to determine where I am, and how did I get here in this space, in this headspace, not where I was physically, but in that headspace. And so I was just so unhappy on my job, and I was just so unhappy with the work that I was doing. And I realized, God showed me by the Spirit of God, that it was really that the dreams that I had in my belly, the call that was on the inside me, was really, really pushing forward, pushing against my comfort zone, and it made me uncomfortable. It's a terrible place to be, and I felt like I knew what I should be doing, but I wasn't doing it because I was stuck in my comfort zone. I was stuck in this job that I call toxic comfort, and that's where I was. So that's what this story is about. It's my release, how my process of how God got me out of that, and how I can share that process with other women to help them out if they find themselves feeling stuck, if they finding themselves having pushed everybody's vision forward but their own, having done everything to help children, to help husbands, to stand by loved ones, and being, last in the line at the expense of their own dreams, at the expense of their own calling. That's who I want to help and inspire.
It's I'm going to love your chapter because it's a lot of times us as women, we're such caretakers. We're loving and we give so much until we can't even give nothing to ourselves.
Mhm.
So the fact that you even found the space for you to even release that is something so amazing because it's some women that never get to that point
Mhm.
because they have always taken care of everyone. And then after you take care of so many people, their identity become yours.
Mhm.
So for you to even take this step, how does it feel to even just do it? I know it has to feel amazing.
Okay, let me tell you, I do. I feel amazing. I feel a sense of freedom that I never had when I was in corporate, when I was like tied to the 9 to 5, and you can't even call it a 9 to 5 because, I was working like sometimes 12, 13 hours a day. It was crazy. And just the freedom to be able to do what God has called me to do, to move when I need to move, to go when I need to go. Just the freedom alone is priceless. And I am just so elated that I am able to, I can say, I I am an author now, and I'm embracing that. I'm an author now. I no longer work in corporate. I retired from corporate, and I am an author now. And I know that God is going to help me to build this platform and to build this business, not only just to be an author, but because of sharing my story, I'm going to help so many other people. I'm going to be able to keep the freedom that I so love and enjoy. I'm going to be able to continue to do the things that He has called me to do. And that's just a blessing right there. That it's more than money could buy. It really is. And I felt like I had, when I was working, and that was something that really stuck with me. And I know I say this all the time. It's kind of become my signature tagline. It felt like a weight on my chest when I realized that I was trading my purpose for a paycheck. I was staying in a job that I hated when I knew God's purpose was in me, pushing its way out of me, or at least trying to. And I was suppressing it because I was just so content to stay in my comfort zone.
Wow, that is amazing. And that takes a huge step. It takes a huge step, especially when it's something that made you feel uncomfortable. And a lot of times when we have fear, it's a blessing on the other side of fear.
Oh
And
yeah.
you are receiving all of that now. And congratulations, you are an author now. So that's one thing that's very amazing. So what would you like for a woman to gain, or even a man, from reading your chapter?
First of all, just that understanding. I want people to identify their passions, learn and embrace who they are outside of what they do.
Yeah.
Because we have been conditioned to think that we are our vocation or our value is somehow tied in our vocation. And so that's not the truth. God has given us all a purpose. He has called us each to something unique and individual. You want to tap into that thing which makes you you, no matter what you're working at. I know that I'm a teacher no matter where. If I'm at McDonald's, I'm a teacher. If I'm talking to my 4-year-old nephew, I'm still a teacher. That is the thing that doesn't shift in me. That's who I am, that doesn't shift no matter where I am. I'm probably teaching right now.
Yeah.
So this is what, and that's what I want people to learn about themselves and embrace that part of themselves. When you do that, tap into that, who you are in Christ, who you have been designed to be, who you are passionate and about, what things that you're passionate about doing, and you align those things with work, then you're going to see fulfillment. Then you're going to really fulfill what God has put in your heart. And can you imagine a world if everybody is doing exactly what God called them to do? We
Ooh,
would turn this world upside down.
yes.
You would not see people going postal, doing the kind of things that they're doing out here, because people would be fulfilled. And that's what I want for everybody.
And that is so true. That's very true. Thank you so much for sharing that. You're going to inspire so many people to even just move on from corporate, cuz I probably honestly about 10 of my friends left corporate and started their own business. And they are like extremely successful. It took a lot of time, it took a lot of tears, regrets, and everything, but at the same time, they are flourishing now. So I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
You're
And let
welcome.
me tell you, I tell this disclaimer all the time. I'm not telling you to quit your job. Don't leave corporate if God didn't tell you to leave corporate.
You
And don't
okay?
leave it and then say, Yvette told me to leave my job. No, I didn't. No, I did not. I said, find and embrace who you are outside of what you do. The
Mm-hmm.
things in you that don't shift regardless of where you are. Tap into that. You may stay in corporate and use those gifts and abilities if that's where God has called you to be.
That's right.
But be where God has called you to be. And own when you're not. That's what I had to do in my story. You see me owning, because as I believe it was Karen said, I stayed there too long. I stayed in a place of toxic comfort too long. And what happens when you get comfortable and there's no movement, you stay too long, it becomes toxic. It's like water. Water is good, but if water just sits and it doesn't do any movement and it just pools in one place for too long, it becomes stagnant. And so then that becomes toxic. And what happens is it begins, the gift and the dream that's laying dormant in your belly begins to then rot from the inside if you're not doing anything with it.
That is
So
so
I have to
true.
be released from that.
Woo, y'all heard you back. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Dr. Kimberly.
Hey,
Hey, gorgeous. How are you?
I'm doing well. Happy to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate you for being here. So please, can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, I am Dr. Kimberly Sims, and I am a physician, coach, and wellness champion. I empower the professional everyday woman who has been sacrificing self for success and service to dismantle the cycle of overwork, of perfectionism, and to take off that cape of superwoman syndrome and choose wellness, purpose, and peace over perfection.
Oh, so I'm curious. What is your chapter about?
So my chapter is called The Price of Perfection. And
Mm.
it is about, of course, me, at a time in my life where I looked like I had it all together. Because that's what I knew how to do, look like I had it all together. And I was checking boxes, I was performing, making my resume look better and better. And I was falling apart. Health was falling apart. Felt like I was falling apart. And had to sit down. I said, God sat me down. Came to a point where I just could not keep going and was faced with my humanity. Faced with the fact that um, I was doing all of that and didn't really even know why. I was just checking the boxes and performing. It was just because that's what I knew how to do. I knew how to look good and I knew how to keep going and I knew how to perform to the point that I had migraines all the time, every day, when I woke up and when I went to bed. And I just kept on going because that's what I knew how to do. Um, and ignored my health and my needs. Um, and so the book is about realizing that that's not okay. And realizing that not only is self care important, but that achievement should have a purpose and a guidance, and that boundaries are important, that moving in your values are important, that listening to God is important, and that leaning on your support system is important. So, really sitting back and learning to lean into my humanity and accept help, um, and ask for help.
You know, a lot of us had that problem. Just being a perfectionist and not being able to receive help because you looking for somebody to do it the same way as you. And you like, oh my God, I don't want to do it. I might as well do this myself. Look, move
Yes,
out my way. And I know exactly how that feel, you know. And then a lot of us women, we do struggle from that. A lot of people do overall, just struggle with that. So, and within your chapter, how did you find yourself overcoming it, and also just taking the steps to even hold yourself accountable for even admitting it in your chapter? Because that takes a lot.
so, like I said, I had to be taken all the way down. Do you hear me? All the way down to where I didn't have a choice. And that is what I don't want for my women and, anyone. I don't want anyone to have to get to the place where I was because I literally had no choice. I could not function. I could not take care of my children. And so me and God was sitting there in the dark having a conversation. And he let me know that it was time to make some shifts. Um, and I'll say, I started to realize that I had been ignoring like hunger cues and um, the fact that I needed to like use the restroom. And I would just ignore it for hours. I was doing that at home when I didn't have to ignore it. I just would ignore it. And so you start to realize these things. But also, when you get to the point where you literally cannot care for your own children, you don't have a choice but to accept the help, even if you feel like it's not going to be as good as when you did it, because you can't. And you start to realize that it's quite all right. And you realize that people are willing to, because sometimes you wonder, is it okay for me to ask for help? Are people going to feel some type of way? Are they going to think that I owe them after they give me this help? And truthfully, people just want you to be well. They want you to be okay. The people who really love you. And so it took me getting to a point of being completely broken. And I don't want that for other people. But yes, he had to knock me all the way down.
Wow, that's amazing. So, after someone reading your chapter, what do you want them to gain from that? Because they're going to actually see a reflection of themselves some way or one way or another.
Yes. So I want you to realize that one, life is not just about what you can accomplish. It's not just about checking the boxes. It's not just about looking good. It's about living in purpose. Much like Yvette said, you really should be moving in your God led purpose. And so that is led by your values and led by what you're good at. And that should lead your boundaries, and you should enforce those boundaries and say yes to the things that make sense. Because what you say yes to limits what you can say no to. And so if you're saying yes to everything, you're going to miss the things that you should be saying yes to. You should realize that you're just as important as everyone else. Because, as you said, women in particular tend to be caretakers, and we find it very difficult, particularly perfectionists, find it very difficult to take care of themselves, to stop and do that self-care. And you have to remember that you are just as worthy and just as important as anyone else that you are taking care of and that you love. You should love yourself just as much. And so it is completely okay for you to take that time and take care of yourself. And then I also, I think that I already touched on it, but using your values and your boundaries to guide you to your excellence, and listening to God on that piece.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you for even just sharing that and just holding yourself accountable for that. Again, that does take a lot. And one thing I would like to tell you, I am proud of you because I know that that is something very difficult that us as women go through as far as just trying to be a perfectionist, trying to get everything done. Just like you said, wearing that cape.
Take it off. Take it off.
Yes,
Hey,
yes. So thank you so much. Hey, Valerie.
Hello, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I am doing well, and thank you for having me tonight. I
I
really appreciate it.
I appreciate you. So please, who are you? What do you do?
My name is Valerie Moore. I am an educator, of course, by trade, but I am a motivational speaker and an empowerment coach. And uh, what my chapter is about is helping single women well over the age of 40 overcome the never been married syndrome. And within my chapter, I talk about the top 10 things that people say to single women that are heart wrenching. And we tend to just, people tend to say things to single women that sometimes we accept it and we can't bounce back from it. And so within my story, I try to help single women realize that, just like Christine said, you are beautiful. God has made you for a reason. If you are going to ever be married, it is important that you be a whole person, that you make sure that you are better and not bitter.
You know what? That is true. You know, one thing that I love about this is like we're so much in the season of people that are trying to heal and they
Yes.
want to heal. And I really appreciate you for even just sharing that. So please let me know, what is your chapter about?
Well, the title of my story is called The CEO Chase. I was in a terrible, toxic, terroristic, tremendously terrifying relationship. It was so bad to the point where when I was trying to get out of the relationship, um, I just knew that day I was going to die. And so when God intervened, he did it in such a miraculous, amazing way that I couldn't even believe it. And I won't share all of it, because if you really want to know, you got to get that book, because I will let you know exactly how he did it. But I do want to share that um, on this high-speed chase, I said, God, if you can get me out of this, I know I shall never return to what I was and who I was when I was with him. And so many times, women, we change who we are to meet all the needs of the man, and we end up leaving with nothing. We've lost things financially, physically, emotionally, and then we have to pick up everything that we've lost and try to start over. And so I encourage you, if you are a single woman that has been in this kind of relationship where you've almost lost your life, we are here to help. We can tell you exactly how to get out of it. You don't have to stay. And see, I read something today that says, when you make a mistake the first time, it is a lesson. When you make a mistake the second time, it's a choice. And so when I made that terrible choice in taking him back for the second time and almost losing my life, I went back and I said, you know what, Lord, the Bible is true. The Bible says in the book of Proverbs, as a dog returns to its vomit, so does a fool to his folly. And I did not want to be a fool anymore.
You know what? Another one. You know what? Y'all don't straight up attacking women. They gonna be like, "Why you in my business?"
Yvette, we messy, and that's what we do. I get accused all the time, so yeah, we messy.
I mean, y'all go from toxic marriage, abusive marriage,
Yeah, yeah,
singleness,
yes,
finances.
yes,
I mean, y'all just going down the line, be
yes,
like attack, attack,
yes,
attack, attack, attack. Like if you don't get your life together off reading those
yes,
books, you something ain't right.
Calling you out.
yes,
Calling
Listen,
yes,
you out.
you
yes.
gonna have people burn the book, then buy it again. You gonna have people get the book all
We shall
wet.
have no burning book bans.
I'm telling you, that book is go through some stress. Okay, you gonna have teardrops all through the pages. It's gonna get thrown across the room.
Yes,
Cause
yes,
y'all is really dominating this right now. I'm sorry,
yes,
Valerie. I'm just like applaud because y'all just attacking women and it's amazing. It's like, a lot of us we have to check ourselves,
right, right.
and it gotta be to a point where we just be like, look, I'm tired. When can I heal? When can I feel good? When can I love me? When can I live life? It got to be a point where we put ourselves first. And you know what? Honestly, a lot of women is doing it now and
Yes,
they hate it. They hate it. But y'all got to keep going because this is amazing. Okay?
But
and
you said,
you know that. Oh, go
let me
ahead.
just say this, and I'm gonna let Valerie finish. The truth is being told in this space,
Yes,
Yes.
and the truth will convict you. It will. So when
yes,
you hear it, your spirit's like, "Oh, that was for me." If you felt it, sis, it was for you. It
yes.
was,
Yeah.
and that was on purpose so that you can catch your healing as well too. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, this happened to me just 5 years ago. This is not anything that happened to me a long time ago. It is fresh in my mind. And I said, Lord, I want to be a CEO. I want to cancel everybody's opinions of who I am. I want to be a CEO. I want to crush every obstacle. And in the end, I want to make sure that I am a constantly evolving overcomer.
That is amazing. I'm so happy that you even put out there how long ago it was.
Yes,
Because a lot of women, they will carry on that relationship for so long. They will
yes,
even hide it for so long and they will struggle moving forward. So my question to
yes.
you is, after 5 years of being gone, how do you feel, sis?
Let me tell you, I have never felt more free. I did not know at the time that God was going to use what happened to me and turn it around so beautifully and introduced me to Dr. Shayna Lewis and Crystal Cunningham, and then the rest of my Destiny sisters. I would have never thought 5 years ago that this would happen. And just as soon as I put pen to paper and was able to release that from my spirit, God said, just like he hung on the cross, he said, "It is finished. It is over. I no longer have to live that life where I was in bondage. I am now free. I am no longer a slave to someone who did not love me, who did not value me. And right now, and I'm telling you right now, if you are a single woman and you are looking to be married, there are some things you have to fix before God sends you that incredible man, and he is on his way. He is on his way in a way that you never imagined. And so I encourage you today, my sisters, to keep your head up and continue to be a CEO.
Well, we just dropped the mic right there, okay? Yes. One thing I want to say, I am so proud of you. I am so happy that you got out. I'm
Yes,
even happy for you to even write this chapter because
yes,
I know it took a lot.
it
And
did.
I know the mindset of sometimes when men have hurt you for so long, they will try to trap you for you not to expose the truth because they've
Yes,
been hiding the truth and they want to keep a certain image too. So
yeah.
just the fact of you just sharing that and telling the story yourself out of your mouth, that is a blessing itself, and you're gonna have so many blessings coming your way just for doing that, and you done saved so many women just for that.
And I can thank Dr. Shayna. And she said, "You're going to tell that story." And I said, "Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am." And then Crystal, she said, "Ma'am, this is like pretty. You about to tell the dirt, get it all out." And of course, I'm an English major, so the writing came easy to me. And Crystal said, "No, ma'am, you about to give it all." And so when they told me what I was going to do, I was obedient like the Lord said. And I say, "Yes, ma'am." And here we are, and
Man,
we're free and we're whole. And I thank you.
I thank you.
Mhm.
I appreciate you. Karen, you in timeout. I see you up there, Karen. You in timeout.
I told you, Crystal, story choker. I told you.
You are in timeout, okay? Well, hey, Jacqueline.
Hello, Yvette. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you for being so patient,
Oh
sis.
no, I was enjoying this. I get a blessing every
Damn.
time I hear my sisters. They encourage me every time.
Yes, I see the reaction on your face. You just like, tell it, sis. Go ahead,
Yes,
sis.
yes,
I thought you was gonna hop out that chair and start the Holy Ghost or something.
honey. They preach to me every time. Okay.
So, Jacqueline, please share with the audience. What do you do? Who are you?
Well, and first, before I do that, thank you for having me on your platform. I so appreciate this. But my name is Jacqueline Carter, and I am a yes empowerment strategist. I give women, I'm here to encourage and give women permission to say yes to the authenticity and the beauty and the glamorousness of who they really are. But I wrote in the book here, and when Destiny Needs an Intervention, my story is called The Imposter Identity. And so I take you on this journey of my story kind of has two levels to it. One level of being stuck and being broken and crushed in this valley. And I call it the valley of indecision, the valley of misery for me, because I had my dreams and my desires and my pretty plans, my perfect plans that I thought I had. But then on this other side, you have God's destiny and his purpose for your life. And you're in this constant inner turmoil and battle with him because you think your plan is better than his. And so I find myself trapped there. And then I find myself in a in a placement in a career field where I had said I would never be. And that is the exact place he put me. And not only did he put me there, but he allowed me to win there when I didn't want to win. I was fighting him all along the way, but he's given me these wins and I'm sitting there upset with him. And it wasn't until when my destiny needed an intervention, when he sat me down after one of the wins, when everybody else said I should be happy about things going on. And he says, "You've forgotten who I designed you to be and who you really are." And I'm not going to tell you everything he told me. Again, that's like one of my sisters said, "Get the book and you'll find out." But he really had to just tear me apart and let me know, you've been living in such a state of brokenness. He said, "Your first album was called Broken, but perfected for my purpose. But no, you've let this brokenness overtake you so much so that you have these masks that you wear now. And you show up into each and every space that you go into already saying and believing and telling yourself, and your actions are telling the world that I'm not enough." And so I was like, "What do you mean by that, God?" And he took me back even to my perfect plans that I had lined up for myself. And he said, "See, when you were here at this stage, mask on. When you were here at this stage, mask on. When you're here, there's another mask." And he said, "People don't see the mask all the time, but I see. I'm your father, and I always see that mask that you're wearing." And so I began to think about that. And I said, "God, you know what? Let me move beyond," because I didn't know anything much about the imposter syndrome and all this that the research and the clinicians say out there. I immediately went to God, this has become my identity because I let it rule everything I do, everywhere I go, every space I'm in. And he said, "That's right." And that's why he had to take me back to, "But here's what I say about you." And he just unfolded it so beautifully and let me go back down the line all the times, even when I was fighting him behind this mask of failure, of brokenness, of insignificance, of regrets, just anything you can imagine. I was there all the time. And no matter how far you run from me, you have my DNA. I'm your identity. And so when I really let him minister to me about that, I no longer see myself behind the mask. And look, some of the masks we wear are so pretty. They're beautiful. The masquerade, think of the mask you wear when it's Mardi Gras time, or when you're going to a masquerade ball. Some of them are beautiful, but they are still masked and they still hinder the world from seeing the authenticity and the beauty of who you really were designed to be. And so once God sat me down and showed me all that, he started to show me how every piece of my life, even when I didn't see it, when I didn't acknowledge it, fit into this perfect plan that he had designed for me. And it's no wonder my favorite scripture, one of them is, "Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it's God's perfect purpose that will ultimately prevail."
I really love that because a lot of us, just when you were saying failure and brokenness and things of that nature, a lot of us go through that as well. I told you, y'all attacking folks, okay? And just the fact that you even taking yourself to have accountability for that as well, that takes a lot because you have to, you don't want to feel embarrassed. You
Mhm.
don't want to be somebody laughing at you or finding more to say about you, gossiping, and just all the heat that comes with that. And that is a hard pill to swallow. It is so hard. So please tell me, how do you feel now, the fact that you released all of that?
I feel freer than I've ever been before. I feel freer than I've ever been before because now I ultimately know my purpose, what I was designed and created to do, is to worship God and to bring glory to his name. So no matter what arena I'm in, that's my purpose. Now he lets us dress it up with the different career choices, but my ultimate purpose is that. And then when he said, I'm your DNA. I've designed you fearful. You were fearfully, you were wonderfully made, and I don't make junk, little girl. And so that kind of summed it up for me. But let me share another thing that my amazing father did for me. I didn't know about the Japanese art form of kintsugi. He said, "Go look it up." I said, okay, God, I don't even know how to spell this, but I started looking and I found it. And what it is, it's a celebration of broken vases, broken pottery. And I said, okay, God, where are you going with this? Because I know in the scripture it says, you are the potter, I'm the clay. So I already had put a piece of that together. But then it started talking about that when there is a broken piece, so most people want to discard it and throw it away. But oh no, in this Japanese art form, they take the finest of gold, silver, or gold, silver, or metallic, I believe it is. And they put it in as a lacquer and put that piece back together. And they don't hide the imperfections, they put them on display. And they have stories to tell about how beautiful and how wonderful this piece is because of the mere imperfections. And God is like, see, that's how I see you. You're going around trying to be Miss Perfect, Miss Have It All Together, Miss Think wants the world to think, like my sister Dr. Kim was saying about this superwoman, Kate. And he said, that's not where it's at. So when you ask me how I feel, I've never been freer. Now that I can authentically say, yes, I'm here. I've been broken. I have flaws. But you know what? Everything that he took me through, I was purpose and it was designed for his purpose. And so I thank God that my destiny had an intervention and he took the scales off my eyes and let me see who I really was. So now I can leave a little bit of glam everywhere I go. And that's God's love and majesty because that's who he designed me to be.
Yes, look at y'all. That is amazing. I am so proud of you. And I could see you just climbing so high that you couldn't even imagine. And you're going to be like, man, I'm here. Yes, you there because you deserve to be there and you work hard to be there. And one thing about it, like I was saying before, releasing all of this will take you to so many levels. And just even experiencing it and you just releasing that, it's just going to bring so much to you. It really is. So thank you so much. Now, Crystal. Nah, you about to turn this mic on. Crystal, why
I know that.
so?
Oh my gosh.
Why you gave all these women whoopings like this?
Listen. I just did what my father told me to do too, which is their father, is our father, and he just gave me the instructions, and I just did it. That was it. Shoot, because I wasn't going to be like, I'm like Dr. Shana, I ain't getting no whooping behind y'all. No way.
Look at Shayna. Look at her.
Punishment? No way. I'm not going in the corner. No way. So we just going to have to work through this thing. And this is what happens when
I know.
you release. I always say that what the Holy Spirit had gave me was our stories can become our kryptonite. It could work against us instead of working for us. And the longer we hold on to it, it works against us. So it's very important for us to release our stories so you can get your own healing, you can get your own breakthrough, you can move on to the next thing that God has, and somebody else can be healed. But the longer that we try to hold on to them, it just comes back to hurt us in the long run. I like that Dr. Shana talks about self-care, right? So it's really you holding on to things and doing things that you should not be doing anymore. That story is not for you. And I remember when I first moved into the space of speaking and sharing my story, I heard them say, your story is really not for you. I was like, well, who is it for? Because I'm the one who went through it. No, you are the one that went through it, but it's not for you any longer. It is for you to release, to give some hope and healing and help another sister out, or help another brother, another family, another community, someone else out in the journey. So I'm just telling you, these women is just amazing. They was not like that when they first came on the scene. They was not. But one of the things that I really pride myself on, and even in the process, is creating a safe space for them. It's very important. This is why I'm saying the anthologies, this process, what we do here is so different. And when I tell you,
Just the process itself. We don't want just a story. No, 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 no. We're going to create a safe space for you. What I call is create the culture. Going to create that space in here where you can come and you can release that story and write it without shame or judgment. I'm going to make it so I'm going to tell you my story. I'm going to help you see that it's okay. Going to give you the permission, as some of them have said in here. That's what we do in this anthology, because I don't know. I know it's an anthology, but I've really been asking the Lord, like, what else? There's another name for this, because it's so much more that happens during the 5 and 6 month process. Like I said, every visionary is a little bit different. Some of them do have 6 month period or 9 months period or 12 month period, depending on their vision, their end result that they're trying to get to. But during that process, I'm going to really set the atmospheres, like he says. We're gonna set. God is putting you in a certain pot. You are a seed, and He is planting you in a place where you can grow and you could blossom, and you could be fed, you could be nourished, because your fruit now must come forth so other people can smell and get a taste of you.
You know what is so amazing about this is that you walking in your purpose so much, and the way you have such a beautiful gift of teaching women how to release that's huge. Like the gift that God gave you was something someone else can't do, and they can't. But the way that you are bringing these testimonies out of these women and not having them feel so afraid to do it, that's a blessing itself. And for you to continue to take on things like that with these different anthologies, helping so many women, I am so happy that you are teaching yourself ways to even release whatever was within them, because you will be the head of being attacked, because a lot of times whatever what was within them, that demon that was within them is attacking you for letting them release that. Like, who are you? What you doing here? You need to leave these women alone. I got them where I want them. Let them stay there. So the power that you have is so beautiful, and I always want you to take care of yourself so much so you could continue this over and over again.
Well, I'm gonna speak to that, because that's really is what happens when I'm doing the anthologies, and not just me, also the visionary. I'm just in the thick of it. I'm the midwife also, to helping to push and birth those stories out, get that root out of them, get them where they need to be. Like I said, this is a launching pad to get that out. However, yeah, there is because of the work that's being done. It's spiritual, personal, and business, all in three. So if you know that you can have this type of impact, you best to believe, you better understand. And let me just look right in this camera. You better understand that the attack is going to come, and is going to come in all different forms. But what I thank God that He has prepared me to, while you're doing this, I got you. I got you while you're getting them. I got you. And there is things that I have been experiencing since I have been doing this. And I've been doing this now for almost 3 years, really helping women birth their stories, write their stories. Always been doing women empowerments, but really writing their stories now, because I didn't really understand the impact of what writing really has. Speaking your story, I'm not saying that speaking doesn't, but I say they're married together. Writing and speaking are married. They are one. They are not separate things. When you speak, more than likely they're going to ask you, "Hey, what do you have?" And the first thing you want to do is provide a book. If you're writing, then you're going to speak about what you just wrote. So they're married together. Through this process, um, because you are helping women get to their next level, change the trajectory of their family, of their life, their business, if they already have one in existence. You think the enemy wants us to do what we're doing? No. So he did not only attack me, he's attacking a visionary too. So we have to make sure that we're on a good plan of, like, we're taking care of ourselves. Dr. Shana talks about that, the self-care. And this time around, I started to experience in all different type of ways. My body, all of a sudden I got this knee injury. All these things started to happen. You could be your finances, the family. I mean, everything that was under the sun. But I still know that there is an assignment to be done, and no matter what, let me just say this: look you right in your eye. I mean, it's not to the person; it's to the enemy. Is that I will never back down when I know I got heaven, the one that created you. There's nothing for me to be afraid of now.
I know that's right. That is a blessing.
Oh, and Dr. Kimberly, she be getting on me too. So, we still sit down somewhere. So when I came to the event, they had me in chairs. They was like, "Don't move, don't go anywhere," and that's what happens here. We become family. It becomes more. It becomes more than you just sharing your story. These women are now really sisters, working together, collaborating with each other. And that's what I love about the beauty of anthologies is that you get to tap into other people's networks. You get to tap into other people's resources and gifts. You understand? So you don't have to do it alone. And we wasn't sent out on our by ourselves. It was Adam and Eve, not just Adam and not just the Eve. They were one. So when we come into this project, we become one. Yes, the enemy might try because he's always going to try. And we should stop not expecting him. That will be unrealistic. People always expect him, but always know who supersedes him as well.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Crystal. Thank you. Dr. Shauna, sis, listen, you are a blessing. You are changing lives. You are even creating a path for women that they never thought they were going to be walking. And I appreciate you so much. And I'm so happy that God chose you to do just that. And that takes a lot. It takes, it takes a lot. And I really, really, ladies, the ones that was on it and still watching, y'all, please, please cover this woman. Always appreciate her, love on her, and everything because she has given you a path to greatness and never look back. Y'all always have to have each other's back because it will be times when you fall short and you gonna need your sister to pick you back up. But one thing about it, when someone is at the head of things and putting things together and they're pouring so much into you, y'all gonna have to pour back into Dr. Shauna because she's gonna need it too. And I really appreciate this so much, Dr. Shauna, because even though you focus on wellness, you still have to, make sure your wellness is good too.
Listen, I appreciate you for saying that because if there's other women here who are listening or watching who are visionaries or leaders of anything, when you are the pourer, you there's not a whole lot of pouring that goes back because you're busy pouring, right? But yeah, to Crystal's point, and through this process, and he ain't finished. The enemy is still he don't take no days off. He's constantly at attack. And that's how I always know that I'm right on track. I'm doing what it is that God said, and I know He will deliver me and anybody attached to me that He's assigned to me in this process, and I'm sure about that. So I appreciate you for saying that, and absolutely the encouragement is needed. The one who is pouring absolutely needs to be poured into. Amen to that. I teach that to women, and I am my first client that has to continuously be in a space of working to take care of myself because it's not easy. This work is heavy. The weight and the responsibility is massive. Imagine carrying not triplets, not quadruplets, not octuplets. I don't even know the word, not septuplets. I don't even know what the word is. Now I will say that I my midwife was over there doing her job because she helped give birth to all them babies, but literally feeling the responsibility and weight of 12 women giving birth to the thing that God put into them. That's weighty. That's
Yes,
weighty.
Yes, it is. It definitely is. Now, for our watchers, could you please let everyone know how to purchase the amazing book as a whole and even individually?
Yes, please run to this website. If you've heard anything these women have said, and I want to give a shout out to the two co authors who weren't able to make it tonight, Dr. Sonia White and Dr. Maya Edmond Smith, who are Smith Edmonds, who are not here with us tonight, but they have some fantabulous, I made up a word, I did, stories that absolutely are worthy of your perusing, because there's not a story in this book that won't touch your heart in some way. But go to whendestinyneedsanintervention.com. There you will find every single co-author. You will need to look for the co-author that resonated with your spirit. Her story touched you. You felt that little conviction in your spirit and you thought she being messy. Well, she was, and that was God meddling so he could stir up what it is he needs for you to pay attention to. See, part of the problem is we walk around ignoring the things or running from the things that are problematic in our life because it's easier to run in the moment. But what you run from, you give power and control to. So the moment you stand, you look it in the face and you said, I see you, enemy, then you take your power back. That's when that destiny needs an intervention, that moment when God can intervene and he can now turn it around because you're willing to face it, knowing that you're not facing it alone. So make sure you get your copy of this book so that you can find yourself the healing that God has for you. And listen, volume 3 co-authors is open. The Spirit has spoken. There is a volume 3. The Spirit has said this is a trilogy. So if you want to be a part of this and you want to be a destiny diamond and be amongst this amazing heritage of women who are just phenomenal, now is your opportunity and chance. The next meeting or interest meeting will be September, I believe it's the 17th. It's a Sunday, next Sunday. And make sure you go to this website, and you can click on the button at the top and you'll be able to see a link to that meeting, or you can go to When Destinies and Intervention interest.com. It's all in the chat if you're on Facebook, and you're able to join us and learn more about this amazing project. So thank you again, Yvette, for having us. I don't take it lightly when we're invited into a space because you trusted us with your audience. And we appreciate that very much. So God bless you, sis.
I just would like to just a little correction. It's going to be on the 18th.
Oh,
We
thank you.
hope to see y'all there on the 18th. Okay.
Yes. Well, thank you, ladies, so much. I appreciate you all. I wish you all nothing but the best. And my viewers love y'all. They love y'all so much. And I pray and hope for nothing but pouring into your personal lives and even your author lives and even your business life. So we all six-figure chicks, okay? Yes, ma'am. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate you. And good night for everyone. Have a good night.